I'm hitting go. Nailed it.
Well, it is a my hops and brews night. So.
It is a hops and brews night, so I wanted to give us some buffer time. All right. Hey, everybody. Hello.
All right.
Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 320, your once-weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us on this Wednesday night or in podcast form over on Anchor.fm or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. If you've never seen the show before, we talk beer, we talk tech, we talk games, pop culture, entertainment, sometimes some Star Trek. All super chats are read on the air so long as they will not permanently demonetize a channel. However, an even better way to help support the channel would be to go on over to craftcomputing.store, pick yourself up a fantastic nucleated pint glass, also available in hops and brews flavors, and start drinking like a pro. Last but not least, if you'd like to take part in the super secret chat and the even more super secret after party, think about joining the Patreon. Link is down in the video description and is yet another way that you can help give me money. Literally helps keep the lights on around here, helps fund content that you enjoy. And you can hang out in the chat with myself, John, Rhett, Steve, all the hosts from Talking Heads, and join the awesome community that hangs out over there. Welcome to the show.
Welcome all. Welcome. I'm ready for a beer.
I am totally ready for a beer. I was working today. I'm working on writing up a little bit of a different script, or different type of video, set after like 2 deep dives into Procmox architecture. I'm reviewing this keyboard, and it's both fantastic and I hate it, and I'm not quite sure how to properly give it its due and say some people might like this, because keyboards are one of those, they're so personal, especially if you even start to encroach on enthusiast levels of keyboards. Like, I have very particular things that I like in my keyboards, in my layouts, in my key settings, in my the cup of my keycaps. Like, I have very specificity in what I like. I'm trying to crap all over this layout while also going, if you like this layout, you're okay.
but I don't.
And I think it's just the way it was advertised. And so I, like a lot of my reviews, I'm trying to go after the advertisement and the actual use case of this keyboard, and would it actually be beneficial, or are they overstating the benefits of this particular keyboard? Which they are. So... I reached a point where I was like, the words are starting to combine, so I went and took an hour and a half nap this afternoon, so I'm feeling pretty good now.
Yeah, I know. It really is one of those things. There's been plenty of times where we've had emergencies at work, and then the other guy that does IT is like, I've been staring at the screen too much. I gotta go take like an hour nap.
Yeah.
And you have to walk away to clear your mind, and just be like, and then you come back and you're like, oh, I'm fresh. Hey, I just had an idea. And stupidly enough, it usually works.
It's why I hate paying people by the hour. Pay them by the job you expect them to do.
Yeah.
Yep. Don't pay for the process, pay for the results.
Yeah.
But on that note, it's going to be a great show. We have an attack vector that I think we all knew was possible, but potentially some evidence stating that it's actually been used or not. There's some conflicting reports on this particular one, but it's interesting nonetheless. Otherwise known as a dental denial of service attack. We've got Nvidia reaching back into the archives and upgrading post-mortem a large number of graphics cards to support a larger number of NVENC streams, something that people have been hacking together for years, but is now officially supported all the way back to Maxwell. Holy crap. And Microsoft not having a great week for a number of different reasons. Obviously, there were the layoffs of Activision Blizzard, 1,900 employees after the acquisition, because we all know that after you spend $63 billion, the best way to treat your asset is to fire half of your staff. But a hacker has managed to crack BitLocker encryption in 43 seconds with a Raspberry Pi Pico. So, yeah, we're going to talk about all that and more. But first, you said something about beer.
Yes, I did. I enjoy it very much, and I would like to have one right now. Let's see. Today I got, I don't know the percentage because I should have looked this up, but it is Parrish's, there's Ghosts, but this is their Holy Ghost. I'm going to assume this is probably pretty close to an Imperial IPA, and it's probably going to be hazy. I'll look up the stats in a bit.
Nice. So I've got 2 on the desk, and I'm gonna give this one up to a vote. I can't remember if I've had this one before. So this is Monkless's Four Devils, Belgian style golden ale, and I also have Freem's Extra Pale. So chat, you have 60 seconds. Sound off about which one I should open. Should I go IPA? Should I go Belgian Golden?
Ooh, that is hoppy goodness.
And then for beer number 2, I already chose. So
I did too. We don't know what each other's are, but we both know they're special.
Yes. Yeah. It's always a good show when you get on in the pre-show and you're going, hey, do you have anything good tonight? And both of us go, yes.
Yeah. Okay, I did not know this. Did not plan this. This is an 11% triple IPA.
So as Adele says, you're rolling in the deep tonight.
But it is really good.
Oh my gosh.
It looks like
pineapple
orange
juice.
Yeah. Oh, it smells like hoppy pineapple juice.
Wow.
And it tastes it's got a bit of that the acid, yeah. The first taste didn't have that, and that second one, yeah, that might ruin my palate, actually. Okay, I really hope not.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 to 4 in favor of the Belgian.
Yeah.
So we are going from Monkless Brewing, Monkless Belgian Ales over in Bend, Oregon. Four Devils, Belgian style golden ale, clocking in clocking in at 9%.
So we're both having pretty big imperial beers.
Yeah. And of course, best way to enjoy it is in a Craft Computing nucleated pint glass.
I got mine.
These are so much fun.
Oh, it's sticky.
I think this might have been the one that I hated. I think so.
That could be why it's in the back of your fridge.
It could be.
You're like, I'll save that for like when John or Rhett or Steve come over. They can have that.
I remember this one now. I very much remember this one now. This is... I don't think it went bad. I think this was an experiment by Monkless gone bad. They say devilishly smooth and light-bodied, 9% beauty. Four Devils is our classic Belgian that is dry and slightly fruity with a subtle earthy hop present. The bouquet is sweet with a mild spiciness intertwined with a pleasant pineapple character. I'm remembering now. This smell took me right back to it. They went full-on Saison with this.
Oh.
With Belgian yeast. Or with Belgian... Yeah.
Yeah, yeast and a Belgian malty... That yeast would I mean the malt and the hop profile would be fine, but the yeast would give it a funkiness, and that's where there's the spice.
Right. It's got a spice intertwined with. No, you
No.
ruined it. That's what you did.
Yes, this I saw someone advertising the same thing I always say. It was Imperial sour stout. I was like, no, you mean spoiled stout.
You mean bad stout. You mean
you infected your stout and you're like, well, we can't do this, so now it's a sour.
Right. There's almost no such thing as a sour stout. Even fruited stouts are very, very rare. Because I've seen some stouts that have like banana or strawberry, and those do okay.
You'll get like banana, strawberry, or like a raspberry, and that's probably all you're gonna get.
Yeah. Most of the time, fruited or sour stout means infected. Please drink quickly so we don't have to write this off.
Yep. Exactly. It's so new, it doesn't even have a rating. Yeah, because they're pushing it out as fast as they can. Right. Trust me, if this thing turned out, they'd charge you twice as much for it. Mm-hmm. They're selling it at cost.
It's not as bad as I remember, but I'm only taking real small sips because I'm a little gun shy. But no, that nose is totally Saison wild yeast. Which is not my favorite beer anyway. But there's no pineapple in here. The bouquet is not sweet. It is a champagne-y, brute, dry kind of aroma to it. You don't get any of those Belgian esters. You don't get any banana or clove or allspice or anything like that. It's like a very thin Saison golden ale.
Speaking of pineapple, did you get to try that new I think it's called Tropic Force? The Voodoo Ranger Tropic Force?
Yeah, the Voodoo. I haven't had the Tropic Force. I've had the Juice Force.
Yeah, Juice Force is good. Get the Tropic Force. It's the yellow can one just dropped. You want to talk about pineapple? That's pineapple. It's Tepache beer at 9.5%. For those who don't know, Voodoo Ranger, that they've got these two different beers out. There's the Juice Force IPA, and then there's the Tropic Force IPA. I think Steve had the Tropic Force just a couple of weeks ago when he was on the show. There's this is the third variant. There's the Juice Force, Fruit Force. Fruit Force is the ones. Fruit Force,
Anyway, the Juice Force IPA is literally like a flippin' mimosa. It is. Totally. It is this bubbly, super sweet orange juice that is just delicious.
And cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple people chiming in. Travis says Tropic Force is even better than Juice Force. I'm loving it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I could agree with that. I could see that point. I don't like the Fruit Force, which is the blue can. That to me tasted like drinking like fruit cocktail out of a can.
Yeah.
It's just like no, or not, or like punch, Hawaiian punch.
That was fruit punch. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, no, it doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
But the Tropic one, that's pure pineapple juice.
Nice. A couple people chiming in with some beer that they are consuming tonight. Let's see. I thought I saw William chimed in up above.
Yeah, William at the top. He's having Badger Hills Brewing Badger Snake Peanut Butter Stout. Cheers to that.
Nice. And then we had a lot of nothing. Patrick's P400 gets an upgrade as well. P400 got an upgrade. We'll get into all the specifics about which NVIDIA cards. And if it supported NVENC, it got an upgrade, which is like mind blown kind of thing.
Let's see. It's I got
Michael's got a New Belgium Cryo Ranger IPA, 7.8%. John Jay is drinking a Christmas cookie Rare Fog by Abomination Brewing Company. It's an IPA, triple New England style hazy, rating of 4.1 out of 5. 763 ratings.
So I got Off Infinity's got a cookie exchanged milk stout. He has that set aside, so I don't know if he's actually drinking that right now.
Reverend starting off with a Hydra 5 for Mortalis. Sour brewed ale with papaya, peach, pineapple, vanilla, and cream. 7%. 4.39 on Untapped.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think this gets like a 4.4 for the IPA.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, I don't remember what I paid for this. I'm pretty sure it's ridiculous. I think I have a box coming in tomorrow. I think I spent like $500 on it. That's ridiculous. And it's only like 10 beers.
Yeah.
It's all waxed and it's been sitting for 3 months since Christmas. I was like, oh, I want to get that one. Oh, there's one more. Delay. Get that one. Oh, and I got one. I got one. And I told Steve this, and I had to push it back just for this, and you might even want to come. It was aged in rum barrels for 4 years. So it sat in the rum barrels for 4 years. It wasn't a 4-year-old aged barrel. The beer sat in it for 4 years. It's a 17% barley wine.
Let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know
in
when.
rum. Yeah. In rum. Oh, and it's freshly wet rum barrels.
Yeah.
Sat in it for 4 years. I was like, yes. Wow. I will gonna buy that, and I will wait to ship out another 2 weeks later.
Wow.
Yeah, that one's gonna be a fun one. That one I want to open up.
Yeah. Novella, Little Willow Brewing, Spare Time Double IPA, 8%, 4.3 on Untapped. There's another super high rating. If you're not familiar with the Untapped rating system, it's a 1 through 5. Just like an Amazon review. You can give quarter ratings as an individual. But here's the funny thing. Beers that are like god tier beers get like a 4.1. It's just the way it works. Almost nothing. I think I might have rated a couple of beers a 4.5. And that's just the way everyone rates on there. And so, you have like super, like Mother of All Storms 2020 edition or something like that. We'll get like a 4.24 on Untapped.
Yeah.
That's a $50 bottle and worth every freaking penny.
Yes.
So if you get above that 4.1, 4.2, it's good.
Yes. Oh, I know. Your average beer is a 3.5 to 3.7.
Yeah.
Craft beer.
Yeah.
That's a good beer. That's a very well respectable score. 4s and up with a large number base behind it of how many people have voted on it.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. I got a couple more bee's knees, starting off with an Elysian Space Dust in his Craft Computing Nucleated Pint Glass.
Nice.
Michael, Holy Ghost, 11%. He was quoting yours. He was letting you know what it was. Yeah. Cool. And I think we got one more. Two more. I see 2 more, and then we'll cut it off. Coffee and Cynicism, drinking a Fatheads Crumbleberry, 5.1%. Blueberry puree, Madagascar vanilla beans, honey, and crushed cinnamon sticks. That sounds interesting.
That sounds delicious.
That sounds really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And Harley's got a Toppling Goliath, Cage's Castle, double IPA. 7.8.
Oh, let's see. I think someone's saying my camera's blurry.
It's grabbing your microphone.
I'll just scrunch that.
There you go.
There we go.
Now you're looking sharp.
All right. Someone called me Steve, and I was like, "Yeah, okay."
All right. So I don't dislike this beer nearly as much as I disliked the first one that I had. It's still not... It's still an experiment gone wrong. It is still not a good beer. It is still...
Well, maybe the aging process, like, smoothed it out.
It's only been in my fridge an extra couple of months. Like, I only had this, like, in November.
Hop profiles can go down within a couple of months, especially for an IPA. I mean, the shelf life is usually only about 3 months.
It's a Belgian. It's not an IPA.
Yeah, but it's hopped, so
Yeah.
the hoppiness would have at least gone down a little bit, and so maybe that gives
The
it
hops
time
weren't the
to...
problem. The hops were not the problem.
I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I'm just calling it what it is.
I like that brewery, so it's fine.
I love Monkless. I've had so many good beers from there. This is a very rare miss from me. And again, you know, we've talked about your method of rating versus, like, Steve and I tend to agree on the ratings. If what you say on the can doesn't appear in the can, I'm rating you down automatically. You said a smooth, light-bodied 9% Belgian Golden Ale Beauty. What I got is a quasi-saison with a super dry finish and no pineapple. So... Huh. Every word you just said was wrong. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the news. And I think we'll start with Nvidia, since there seems to be a lot of people interested in that. And this was one that certainly caught me off guard. So this was actually published sometime, I believe, last Wednesday or Thursday, right after the release of this fantastic little beauty, which mine finally showed up. I was supposed to have a release day review, and then mine got stuck in Los Angeles for 6 days. So, yeah. So
now you got to come up with a different video?
So now... I was already thinking about doing something different. This just gives me more time to do it. I had teased during my last video about the 4070 Super. What is a bottleneck? Where does it exist? And should we care? So how far can you upgrade an older system? What bottlenecks exist from PCI 3 to PCI 4? And then I'm going to take a look at a couple different... CPU types as well. So we'll go, you know, mid-range i5, we'll go top-end i9, you know, like a 13400 versus a 13900K, for say. We'll do, I think I might do my Tiger Lake Earying board as like a sub 100 watt. I'm also going to throw at it my Threadripper 7980X. 64 cores of Zen 4, but known to be slower than AMD's, you know, 7800X3D or even, you know, CPUs like that. And what was the last wild card? Oh, the last wild card. That's the whole reason I started this video. The last wild card was I got a brand new in-box EVGA X99 for the Win motherboard. And I have a 5960X 8-core processor for it. So, if you built a system in like 2017, and you got, I need 8 cores, enthusiast desktop, what's your top end? What can you upgrade to? And would it make sense to buy a brand new graphics card, or is there, you know, is there something else along the way? So it's going to be a very involved set of testing. I'm not going for full lab results. I'm not going for full, you know, white glove, you know, eliminating every variable. But I want to give just like some context of like the last 7 years of gaming, the last 7 years of graphics cards, the last 7 years of CPUs. If you slap a 4080 Super into it, what's it going to do? So that's kind of the premise.
Is it actually going to improve it? Do you want to do that
Right.
Or could you spend your money somewhere else and even maybe save a few bucks?
Right. So, all things being equal, tested against another graphics card, it would be the same performance difference or same percentage difference between multiple generations. It's just if you were being CPU limited, you'd have lower overall scores. But what does that actually look like? And should we care?
Yeah.
I'm going to test a 13900K against a 7980X.
Or I got a great video idea is you give it to someone and like you test it on what would happen if I gave this card to a beer review channel, and would his videos improve? Would he be able to edit it faster or not? Who knows? Let's find out. I'm going to give it to him and we'll find out. I like that one too. Sounds like fun. I think that's a really clickable video.
Hey, John, how's the last free computer that I gave you doing?
It's I don't know. It's technically no one's ever seen it, so there's no proof of it out there.
It's true. There is no proof that it exists. I owe Rhett a new one as well. Maybe I'll take the one that I built him and I'll give you that one.
How about you give him mine and I get the new one?
Ooh, boy. Is he on X70? I think he's on X79 still. He has a dual CPU system. It's wild. It's a wild little system that I gave him.
I need to upgrade.
Sounds like John needs an A5000. Not at the current eBay prices, he doesn't. Do you know how much that card is worth now?
I might spend the money for like my birthday to get like a nice computer or a setup. And there's the video right there that you could do.
Yeah, upgrading Hops and Brews to whatever the latest and greatest is. Yep.
Yeah,
no,
what can these 3 beers get me? That's the video.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Are they out of that $500 box? Because we can talk.
Yeah. Oh, I know. That's the problem is, so I was talking to Steve and my wife was complaining that I bought this box. She's like, I don't care that you bought that much, but you don't drink them. And I was like, well, I want to, I'm saving them for special occasions, but I bought so many for special occasions, it's overloaded my fridge. And so I was like, I could literally do a video of like, what does a $150 beer taste like? What does a $100 beer taste like? What does a $90 beer taste like?
Yeah.
Can I tell the difference?
Yeah. So I did a sponsored video for Yian maybe a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, about a pre-built gaming PC. And I went, how do I, as a reviewer, review and give honest opinions on this, but also make it a promotion and make it obvious that Yian sponsored this video. I went out and bought a $100 bottle of Anchorage, and I drank that during the video.
I remember that.
Yeah, so thank you, Yian, for the beer. Now let's take a look at your PC. I thought that was a great premise.
Yes. Yes, no, so that beer, I have an even more special variant of it.
Yeah.
And the rum barrel aged is that beer.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh my god.
So imagine that, but aged 4 years in rum.
That was legitimately one of the best beers I've ever had in my life. And I drank all 12 ounces by myself.
Oh, I believe you. I've had 2 variants of it, and they were delicious. And I think I have, after this box, we'll have almost close to 10 variants of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should do a Mr. Beast, a $1 beer versus a $100,000 beer.
Novella Hobbs says, where do I get free computers? LOL. Normally, I would criticize someone of like, well, maybe hook me up with beer every once in a while. But Novella, you hook me up with beer every once in a while. Yeah. No, what? I looked into... by the way, we will get to the NVENC thing momentarily.
Oh, yeah.
I looked into... potentially trying to give back to my community a little bit. Of, hey, why don't you join the Patreon and I'll do a monthly raffle, either a buy-in or something like that. I cannot host a raffle in the state of Oregon if I'm going to make more than $1,000 a year if I'm not a 503c nonprofit. You can only do a raffle hosted in the state of Oregon if you are a nonprofit, if you plan to make over $1,000. I literally can't give things away.
I can. So Hops and Brews could give it away. You could give it to me, and then I could give it away.
No, because you would be facilitating the giveaway.
I could buy it off of you for $1.
You could, but then how would you give it away?
I am not making any money, and I would just be giving it as a gift because I purchased the item, and so therefore I could give the item away.
No.
Or you could do a raffle.
John, you're discussing a tax fraud, and I don't like it.
Or you could do a raffle for $1.
You could make a second company that is a separate 503c. I considered doing that. In fact, I kind of wanted to start a nonprofit and start doing yearly streams and charity streams and things like that. I know Paul and Kyle do their annual hospital run every November. Joel Telling does his Seattle Children's Hospital. He does a fundraiser for them once a year. I've considered doing something like that and starting a nonprofit and that kind of thing. Seemed like a bad time to look into it with all the things that are going on with the completionist right now. And his doing a charity fraud thing. To be clear, it's not dissuading me from making that decision, but it was just kind of funny. Like literally the month before, I was like, "What would this take to start something up?" And then maybe later on this year, try to hook up with an organization and run a charity and raise money for them and things like that. And then all the Carl Jobs and Muda videos dropped on the completionist and his $600,000 plus charity fraud, and that's just the crap that they reported on paper, not the stuff that's lost to the ether. And I went, So, just YOLO it. What's the IRS going to do? Come after you? Yes. It's in fact what they would do. Raffle a coupon to get 99.9% off the item. You're still raffling whether it has no cash value or not, you're still raffling an item. And if your revenue exceeds $1,000, you can't do that.
My revenue does not exceed $1,000.
Your raffle revenue. Mine would.
Oh. Well, you're raffling a coupon. The coupon is not worth anything.
That's not the way that works.
Anyways, we have an article to get to.
Yes.
Unless we want to keep talking about tax evasion and fraud.
Yeah. Let's just get all my ideas out there now. So
yeah, implement the chat.
Anyway, Nvidia, when they launched the 4080 Super, they launched a new game-ready driver, and as well as making tweaks to their server drivers and things like that. And in it was a very, very hush-hush thing. This driver, unlike some of the more recent ones, had updates dating back into GPU's past. This had changes that were affecting all the way back to Maxwell. That is 2012. So 14 years worth of GPUs. Why would Nvidia do that? Well, as we've already said, they have tweaked and changed the number of NVENC streams that are allowed by not only enterprise GPUs, but consumer GPUs too. One very popular thing to do in home labs is to take an old NVIDIA Quadro. For years when I started doing this, the K620 was the darling because it had an NVIDIA ENC encoder. It was fully unlocked, so you could encode as many H.264 1080p streams as the card could handle, which as it turns out was like 8, 10, 12 streams if you're doing on Plex, depending on the bitrate, or do a number of like security camera feeds. You know, if you're doing a Blue Iris or you know, similar NVR like that. And while NVIDIA consumer cards are totally capable, literally having the same NVENC hardware as their enterprise cards, they were often limited to 2 streams per NVENC encoder, and most NVIDIA cards outside of the flagships only included 1 NVENC encoder. So a card like a GTX 660 or GTX 650, you would only be able to stream 2 NVENC encodes. For years, there have been workarounds for getting by that limit of like injecting the Quadro instruction set into consumer cards and bypassing that NVENC limit, making it unlimited. And like I said, because it's the same hardware and the driver doesn't know any different. Well, back in 2020, NVIDIA increased that to 3 streams across every card, and they did an update. Now, that was also very quiet. That was also during the everyone needs to work from home, and so all of a sudden there was a huge demand for video encoding, you know, live streaming, etc. This one, though, came as a bit of a shock, because every single GPU on this list, every single one, now has 8 NVENC streams enabled per NVENC decoder. That means if you have a GTX 1070 or 1080, which have 2 decoders, that's 16 streams. The only one that I could find that didn't get updated to 8 was the GTX 1630. It has 3. Every other card that supports NVENC can now do 8 streams. Every last one of them. Now, there's different NVENC hardware. Maxwell is, sorry, I keep saying Maxwell. Kepler. It goes all the way back to Kepler, 6th gen. All the way back to GTX 600 series, Kepler cards.
Does it? No, I thought
yes.
It was Maxwell. I thought it was Maxwell.
I thought it was Kepler. No, GTX 745, 830M. Oh no, it is Maxwell. Okay. Maxwell cards.
Maxwell.
So 2014, excuse me.
Still, I mean,
Yeah.
10 years back.
Yeah. Is this Windows or Linux for NVENC? Both. Both received the update as of the most recent driver version. I have a GT 1030. Does that count? No. The GT 1030 does not have NVENC hardware. Neither does the MX 150 or the MX 350. But just about every other card on this list does. So if you have a GTX 750, which is 2nd generation Maxwell, guess what? 8 NVENC streams at 1080p H.264. Now, some of these cards on the list, these are all the different NVENC hardware variants over here. You can see a lot of the early ones, the 1st generation Maxwell, they only support H.264 AVC HD. They did upgrade it all the way to lossless 4K, though. So as long as you have the right codec, you can encode all the way up to 4K, even on these older cards. Once you get into Pascal, we get into H.265, 10-bit, etc. Once you get into Turing, which is what we consider the new NVENC encoder, that will also do quite a bit higher end bitrate support. It has a lot more power behind it, and it's a much more efficient encoder. And then obviously the brand new 4000 series cards also got the update. They released with 5 NVENC streams unlocked. They will now all do 8 NVENC streams, and they will do AV1. So yeah, if you want 10-bit, you need Pascal or higher. Those are the only ones that do 10-bit support. And the Turing is what does HEVC B-frame, so B-frame encoding.
Yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, it's basically, it'll hit all of those cards, but to get the maximum potential, I think you have to have like the 20 series or up to unlock all 8 and have it at its full potential. But it still unlocks it a lot of stuff that's performance-wise. Yeah. Basically, it's going to max the performance of all of these cards.
Yes, yeah, the cards can actually do what the hardware is capable of now.
Yeah. That basically unlocked it.
Yeah. So, no, very cool news, especially in the home lab community. I mean, finding cards that would do NVENC and do it well. There were people that, you know, gosh, who just chimed off? Recently got a Quadro M2000. There's a couple people saying they just picked up a Quadro P400. Tesla P4 is another popular choice if you can strap a fan to it for, you know, getting enough NVENC streams up and running. I also run a P400, or did for a number of years in my servers for doing NVENC. So what's the use case for what is the use case? Simultaneous multi-camera streaming. Usually it's home media encoding. So if you have a Plex or an MB or a Jellyfin server, you can transcode your content on the fly. So you can hold the uncompressed RAW, or, you know, your raw DVD content on there, which is 4.5 gigs. You can hold raw Blu-rays, which are 25 or 50 gigs each. Then you can compress it down on the fly and stream it to an HTPC or a set-top box or something like that, at a bitrate that it can accept, and in a codec that it can play natively, because those devices can't play DVD VOBs natively. So it gives you the option to be able to translate and transcode into a native codec on the fly for whatever your streaming device is. For security cameras, it's the recording side of things. It's the taking in an H.264 stream at whatever bitrate, and then encoding it at a bitrate that your computer can easily chew back through without using a lot of CPU cycles, because CPU encoding is very power intensive. Why throw an i7 at something and use, you know, 200 watts of power when literally 10 watts on a GPU will do the same thing?
Yeah, it will also help, though, just what he did ask. It will help with like streaming multi-track video, like Twitch announced that they're going to be doing something like that. So yes, it will also help with that as well. Mm-hmm. But what Jeff is referring to is probably the broader audience. You know, for the home lab, for the average user, I don't think this is going to affect too many streamers, because most of them probably already have a pretty high intense graphic card. Yeah. So, you know, yeah. But if you do, hey, great for you. So, you're maxing out that performance.
Yep. All right. Microsoft not having a great week, and this one I think kind of solidifies, like, let's just make sure every department has a bad week. BitLocker encryption has been can be broken in under 43 seconds on a client device with a Raspberry Pi Pico TPM sniffer. This is made by Stack Smashing. As an open source device. You can build one yourself, or you can buy one for less than $10. It is a TPM attached device, so you plug this into the TPM port on a laptop, on a desktop, and what it will do is spit out the encryption keys that keeps all the files and whatnot encrypted when they are on that particular system. I will say, as a tech who has replaced many a laptop drive, being able to just brute force an encryption key to be able to rescue said laptop drive, very thankful for it. Even the white hat among me is very, very thrilled about this news. Not great news if you're Microsoft, and BitLocker is kind of one of your selling features of keeping Windows secure on the fly, on the go.
Just so if people don't know what this can do is, like, if you throw away your laptop, you donate it, you don't properly get rid of stuff, or even if you just took it to a repair shop, they can steal everything now with this method if they wanted to where you're thinking, oh, okay, they got this BitLocker thing in Windows, the mom and pop thinking gets sold on this device from some Best Buy agent. Oh, if you lose this, it's fine, blah blah blah. No, it's not as hard as this guy. If you watch the video, which I did, it's kind of pretty ingenious, actually, the way he did it. He's like, actually, it's pretty simple. ... He hooked up and he's like, oh, there's these 5 waves, and that's sending code through here. Hey, look, the Pico can do this exact same thing. I soldered this together. Oh, now I have it. It wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
Now, don't be afraid. This is not something someone's going to hack in via the web. He has to have physical access to the device.
Right.
So if you did need to, like Jeff was saying, transport, if you were part of, like, say, the IT team of your company and you had to upgrade the system from a new hard drive, this would help a lot to upgrade some information to give new life into something. So,
yes.
Like a lot of people end up buying like a 250 gig NVMe or SSD, and you're like, look, I'm going to upgrade this because you're already maxing 250 gigs out. That's all the time. That's a lot of companies do that for the budgeting aspect. 1 terabyte stuff is so cheap now because I just bought 5 of them. That's what I'm doing. Not laptops and
only
stuff,
5 because
5 this week.
I've bought more than that for a personal stash in a single go.
Well, it was just this week.
So. As Zachary points out, this only works on TPMs that are connected via LPC, and so it's only devices that have their LPC exposed are the ones that are vulnerable. If this is a built-in TPM, it's less so, although I will not say exclusively so, so long as even a pin is exposed that you could potentially solder a lead to, but it does defeat the whole plug-and-play aspect of it.
I do believe, though, a lot of laptops and computers have an LPC, and they're accessible on the board that you can find. It's not too common, from my understanding, at least anyways, that it's not unreachable. So it's, yes, he is correct, but it's more likely that it's vulnerable in this aspect.
Also, the fact that the algorithm exists to defeat TPM is concerning enough. So, yeah, the attack is only effective if the TPM is outside the CPU. Right. Has to be an external module. If the TPM is built into the CPU, the attack is nullified. This is correct. You have to see the back and forth transport of the TPM signal between the CPU and the TPM itself to have access to sniff that traffic. But the fact that we can defeat the TPM by a simple sniff attack is kind of damn, he beat me to it. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, he's coming soon. Thank you. So yeah, the thing is, if this is defeated by sniffing, it really only is a matter of time before we figure out how to do that in software. So the fact that this exists means a wider break is coming. This is just the first. Let's see. Matlock says, what are your thoughts about Intel and AMD adding AI chips to their APUs as Apple Macs have already done? You're talking about the NPU, or the neural processing unit. Number one, it's overblown. The NPU is a parallelized processor, or a parallelized set of instructions, very similar to a graphics card that runs slower than graphics cards. So the GPU section of the APUs inside of these chips is still faster at AI acceleration. The NPUs are not large enough to do large projects, but they are more efficient than the CPU or the GPU tackling these instruction sets. And the CPU is still faster, although more in a brute forcey way. In the end, we're talking about running specific instructions. And the NPU is optimized for a certain set of instructions inherent to large language models, image generation, the tasks that we call AI today. I am kind of starting to... I've been thinking about a video concept for a while. I want to call every PR person for every company that I work with, and I want to say, explain to me how I will be using AI locally on my PC in the next 2 years. Whether it's your company's version of it, or whether it's a global vision, or whether it's whatever. What will it actually be doing on my PC? Is this all speculative? Because right now it feels pretty darn speculative, which means we're throwing a whole lot of hardware and a whole lot of development at something that will probably exist in the cloud anyway as the only way to utilize it. Because why would we not want cloud-connected things to sniff data from and build ad profiles on, rather than running it on local hardware at an nth percentile of the speed?
And they will say, home lab people.
Right.
It's only for your own personal server, and you want to keep all your stuff protected.
Yeah.
And that's all.
That's my question to the industry as a whole is, what is it actually going to do for me locally on my box? We understand LLMs and ChatGPT and things like that, and how those are potentially extraordinarily powerful development, writing, questionable, queryable tools that you could add into a workflow. And I know a number of people who do add it into even a creative workflow like this. At the local level, what is it actually going to do? Why are we putting that hardware at the local level when it's 0.001% of the actual compute power that you need to run a large language model or to run image generation or anything like that? What's it going to do?
Yeah.
Closest is Microsoft Copilot. Copilot is still going to run in the cloud.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if this is going more toward like the smart home, and if they're thinking about that, of like, say, with Apple, they integrate all of their stuff. So you do this, and then this AI will learn your habits within your house with your devices, and then therefore it could learn personally for you. But like you said, but it doesn't do anything else, and it's so much more, takes up so much power and processing performance. I don't know. It's a gimmick, but someone's got to start. I don't know. It's very similar to, you have to sell the latest and hottest, greatest thing. Maybe you might get a bite, and then it develops into something else. And you could be the one company that gets the head up above the game. More likely, it's going to sink. You know, to me, like, it's like Google Glass and the augmented reality stuff. Even VR, I think, has its place, but as how they were toting VR, 7-8 years ago, it's not quite as it is now. There's still a place for it with a lot of like gaming people, but there was like graphic artists are going to be integrating it. Surgeons are going to be using it all the time. It's like, that's very specific and very special. It's not going to be this everyday item.
Yeah.
So I think it's similar to that, to where I think they're just trying to throw something out there, a wide net. Did you hit anything? Did you grab anything? Nope. Oh well, we just wasted a couple $1 billion.
Yeah.
And then some consumers bought it up and some didn't.
Yeah.
And that'll be the thing.
There's a couple people who chime in. Jordan says Lenovo touted a hyper-optimized local LLM assistant that only runs locally. I did see that, and there's a couple others that have done that as well. I mean, local GPT is a service that you can run. It still requires something like an A2000 level of acceleration, though. You still need, at least 6 gigs of VRAM and enough CUDA processing to chew through all that. You're not going to do that on an NPU. You're not going to do that at something that's literally 1% of the actual horsepower of NVIDIA's worst AI card. So, yeah. What are we actually going to use this hardware for? Even Intel and AMD both. I attended both launch events for Sapphire Rapids and AMD's MI300. Sorry, Emerald Rapids. Did I say Sapphire? Emerald Rapids. The tests that came out of there showing NPU utilization, it wasn't all that impressive. Like, we're putting NPUs in everything. Cool. They're 20% as fast as the GPUs. Okay, why? Well, they're 30% more efficient than the CPUs. Okay, well then just run it on the CPU. But that would cost more battery. Okay, but what are we actually doing with this? Well, we loaded it up with a 73, billion, inference LLM. No one's going to run that on a laptop. What the hell are you doing? Like, it was that kind of back and forth. It felt like media and people who actually live in this space versus why are you putting this in here? I don't know. And I'd love to find out.
Well, now, what if, and this is quickly spitballing, what if it was able to keep your information private but still grab outside resources, so then that way your information was never put into its algorithm, the mass algorithm, if you wanted to keep it private? So therefore, it technically had a connection to the cloud-based version, but then you never wanted to add to it and have that, you wanted a very secure lock version. And so you wanted all the information you pumped into this AI would not be outsourced to everyone else into their server, but it had the resources to grab the information that was free, internet-based, cloud-based. So actually, my thought was, what if they did like medical things? I wonder, theoretically, in 10, 15 years, stuff like AI is a relatively cool tool. We've talked about AI being a tool. It is a tool. But it could do stuff like better than the WebMD. You could ask it medical advice. You could ask it for photo editing for family photos, but then not upload those photos to a cloud server and have your kids pictured all over somewhere. I don't know. That's an idea. That could be the way it goes. I doubt it, but it could be. So,
how's your beer treating you?
I just finished it. A lot better than it started out with. Actually, no acid burn, couple sips, and I thought it was going to do that, and no, not so much. Very hoppy. It tasted like a imperial hazy wet hop beer. Very
Nice.
delicious.
Nice.
Very delicious, juicy all the way through. So Yeah, very good. I am ready to open my next.
Skull gets up for 1 minute, and we're talking about stripper names as product names in the chat. Why is every new technology named after a stripper? And I went, well, there's Sapphire, there's Emerald, there's Phoenix, there's... God damn!
Well, now you know where all
Comet, Meteor...
all of the people, all the business meetings were held at. It's like, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna name this next graphics card after you, baby. You're gonna live forever.
I remember when we named it after, cities and places in Oregon. It was Tillamook and Tualatin and Nehalem. Yeah. I've been to Nehalem. No one knows where Nehalem's at, but it's one of my favorite architectures. X58. Nehalem, baby. Yeah.
Well, what do you think most per capita is in Oregon, Jeff? It ain't breweries.
It's not breweries. Washington missed it by this much, too. It was Seattle for the longest time.
Yeah, where's the candy?
Candy.
Candy. Oh, Candy. Oh, okay. Yeah, Candy. I was like, oh, it's funny because we have a town named Canby. So I was like, oh, that could have been either one.
Uber says, I just finished my stout, but I started it at 5 p.m.
How long does it take you to drink a beer?
Where are you at?
I mean, if you're at work, I understand that.
Yeah.
Oh, Uber Sprite. Yeah. Uber Sprite is actually a friend. He is the one that sent Jeff and Steve and I, sorry, that box. He is currently doing the beer diet, actually.
Oh, nice.
So he is on day 7. So he tried it last year and made it to, I think he said like day 3 or 4 and gave up.
Oh, John.
And I'm dead. It's charging.
Did I not give you the dummy battery adapter for that camera?
No.
So, John.
It's got a charge. Did I not check the... It's plugged in. Is it in your Jeff's garage sale?
It is.
Or craft computer? Oh. Well, the camera. That's the one that overheats, though.
No.
Isn't it?
No, not with the flippy screen. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No,
this one's great.
Sony. I was looking to upgrade, but I think it was the one above that one because it does 4K in like 120 frames per second.
Which one are you looking at? Even mine, I have the A7 IV. That's my primary camera. Yeah. That's the one over that way. That one still does 4K 30. This is the A7 III. It also does 4K 30.
The Alpha 7.
Right, the A7, but which version? So are you looking at the 3S? Are you looking at...
I think it was the 4.
Yeah, I have the A7 IV. It only does 4K 30.
6 cameras.
The A7 IV will do 1080 at 120 in burst mode.
Yeah.
And so I can do like 30 seconds of 1080 at 120.
I can do 1080 at 120. 4K 60. I know there was one, but it was roughly like, $2,000 to $3,000. So like,
right.
I'm not gonna do that. Everything else, I don't need it. Let's see. There's the Zcam E.
I like this one because it takes USB-C power in. Yes. That's a
A7S3. A7S3.
S3. Okay. So S3, that is basically the A7 IV. It's the same sensor as the A7 IV. That one will do burst rate at 4K 120. It's like 9 seconds or something like that. Is what you can actually record for. There is a super slow-mo mode on it.
Yeah. It's basically, but the thing is though, like for me, it's like do I need it? My camera does everything I need,
Yeah.
but it's like, yeah, it would be nice, but I don't really need it. I don't even have the time to do half the shots I want to do anyways, you know.
I do miss having so I went with the A7 IV because I started doing a lot more. I had a lot more need for autofocus, and I sold my Zcam E2. My Zcam E2 shot 180 frames per second at 4K until the battery died.
Yeah.
It was such a cool camera. I love that camera. It was only micro four thirds, and it needed a lot of light. But I had prime lenses at a TF or a T1.4, so I had perfect setup for using all that kind of stuff. And man, I got some killer slow-mo shots with that thing. It was also $2,000 for the body only. It was like $3,800 to actually make the camera work. And I sold the Zcam and I bought 2 Sony full frames plus lenses for what I sold the camera for. Simply because it's like, what's more important to me? Autofocus so I'm in focus, or that once every 7 or 8 months 120 FPS shot that is just money.
Yeah.
I kind of want both, to be honest.
I know, and that's what I'm like. Oh man, if I only had that, I could do these killer B-roll shots, and I could do really cool lighting stuff, and had this just beautiful dark background lighting aspect, B-roll, the splash.
What I will say, a benefit of the A7S III, the one that you're looking at, and the A7 IV. Over a lot of other Sony cameras is the dual native ISO. So a lot of Sony cameras will have a native ISO either at 800 or 2000. And that's your exposure rate of your sensor. That is the native, cleanest image you're going to get off your sensor. The A7 IV has a dual native ISO. It is at 2500, which is higher than the other cameras already. And 12,800 is the second native ISO, where all the noise goes away. I can shoot with a 10-watt light bulb on the other side of the room, and it's properly exposed. It's freaking magic. I can see in the dark.
Yeah, no, it's... Well, that's what I was... Because when you get that, you can get the really dark backgrounds in a little bit of light.
Yeah.
Goes a long, long way. Yeah. And that's the thing is... I'm just, it's not that like my B-roll's horrible or anything compared to for a beer channel. It's perfectly acceptable and probably one of the better ones for the B-rolls of it. But it's like, at the same time, I get like an hour to shoot a video. So I'm like, all right, I got to get a formula down.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I'm stuck in the same formula. How do I get another one, but within the same time frame? And
well, you hire someone.
I know. Oh yeah, I got the budget for that.
Right.
I know. I am currently thinking it's like, oh, I need to reformat my standard structure of shooting. And actually, funny thing, I've been going through older videos. I'm like, that was a creative shot. That was a creative shot.
Mm-hmm.
Of I didn't know what I was doing, but I was just experimenting, and I was like, oh, I could probably easily recreate that with minimal effort. And right now I'm actually just still playing catch up with, I have 4 or 5 videos that I need to edit that are old. I'm just like, all right, I have content I got to put out and I don't need to, so I can spend that time doing other things and still playing catch up with work, and that's been busy. So just enough to where like I can put out a video hopefully once a week. Maybe mine will be, I got another one. I know there are 3 videos that are old. I mentioned in my last video drinking Arizona iced tea, hard iced tea, and then I was like, oh, I didn't even release that video yet. And so I was like, oh man, now I gotta edit the Arizona iced tea video, which is great hard iced tea, by the way. If you're looking for the closest example to what the 99-cent iced tea from the gas station tasted like, but you're like, yeah, but if it was 5% alcohol, it makes it that much better. Yeah, Arizona iced tea is the best.
Ooh.
Out of all the hard iced teas I've tried, Arizona's probably the best.
That tracks with my experience with Arizona iced tea anyway. So
Yeah, no, I was pleasantly surprised of all three of the offerings they had. The only downside is they only sell it in the 20-ounce cans. And so you're like, it's not horrible, but it's not 99 cents.
Right.
And so that's the problem. And it's like,
What is
it's
it?
only five.
$4?
It's like $3, $3.50 a can. Yeah.
Honestly,
Eh.
at 5%, you're not doing as well as like a Hop Valley Cryo Stash. You're not doing as well as a Juice Force. You're not doing as well as a a Sierra Nevada Torpedo or something like that, which you can also get for like $3. But for a 20-ounce hard iced tea, $3 is pretty solid.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing is it the sweetness of it doesn't taste artificial sweetener. It tastes as sweet and flavorful as the original.
Grab my second beer
Arizona teas. Okay, yeah, that's the thing. So my biggest problem with the sodas and the sweeteners, tea stuff, has always been the sweetener, and they use the either zero sugar, so it has a Splenda stevia kind of diety soda flavor to it. Some of the other teas are just overly sweet because they don't want you to taste the alcohol. I just did the Voodoo Ranger teas, and they are higher percentage, so they're 7 to 8%, and they are sweeter.
That is a recurring theme with a lot of the low end malt liquor-y infusions. That was the problem with the Jack Daniel's cola. That was the problem with you could argue that's the problem with a lot of the White Claws, that they mask terrible ingredients with, we'll just make it a little bit sweeter, and people will go, oh, that's good enough, and then drink it.
Yeah, exactly. And the one aspect I do like now, I didn't know this when I shot the Voodoo Ranger one, is they came out with a brand new variety pack, and they forced you to buy the 20 ounces, but they came out with 12 ounces and 2 extra flavors. And I was like, okay, this is better because I would rather just have 12 ounces of this instead of 20 ounces. And the price point is still like $12 for a 12 pack. So then you're like, okay, it's $1 now for each one of these individual things. That's a decent price. I can justify buying this and wanting a non-carbonated beverage. That's okay. You got yours. All right. What do you got? I can't see it.
I know. Can you hear it?
No. Oh gosh. All right. What year is that?
2021.
All right. Hang
on. So John gets on to our Zoom call and goes, hey, do you have anything good tonight? And I went, in fact, I do. I went ahead and brought up from the garage one of my 3-year aged at this point Bourbon County Stouts. I still do have probably not quite as old as some of yours, but I still do have a 2017. I still have a 2020 oatmeal cookie. Okay. I've got a couple like that. This is my last standard 2021.
Oh,
so
okay. I think I got one of those left.
Yeah, but
I think that'll hold up just fine.
I think it will too. I think this actually might be the right time. 2020 was decadent. 2021 came out, and I went, this feels young. This feels a little young. This feels like not quite. It's not mellow enough. And I've had some. I think it's been a year since I opened one of these, and I went, that definitely helped. So I'm hoping at this point, 3 years in the bottle, that's the right time.
All right. I'm looking mine up currently. That's not a good rating.
Really?
Mine gets sub 4.
Are we talking like 393? What are we talking?
3.8.
Okay. Now I'm even more intrigued, actually.
It is. Okay.
Am I out of touch? No, it's Untapped that's wrong.
Hang on. Untapped says it's a barley wine. The label says it's something else. But it is.
Ooh, I already know what it is.
Firestorm Walker's Dark and Stormy 2018. That says blended ale with ginger and lime, rum barrel aged. So I don't know. But it only gets a 3.8 on Untapped, 11.1%.
Yeah. So this one of the 14s? Yes, 14.0. Got to use one of the craftcomputing.store wood handle bottle.
This isn't I think I got a non-etched one.
What the heck? How did you end up with that?
I think you put it in the box and you forgot to do it.
Oh, I must have grabbed the wrong one. I have a Hops and Brews one like right around here. Hold on.
That's probably the only one.
I've sold a couple. In fact, I need to get you your quarterly payment. So.
Oh, there we go.
It's been mostly pint glasses. And speaking of,
oh, very nice. Ooh, see, I'm pretty sure whatever Untapped has is wrong, because this smells delicious. Look at that. That's a beautiful looking glass.
It's not a beautiful glass. I am always jealous of this glass because of how simple it is, how quickly it cuts, and just how freaking good looking it is when it's done.
It's a good looking glass.
It is so good. I spent literally days designing this.
I spent 30 minutes.
And John cranks this. John sends me over his assets and goes, throw it on a glass. And I put it on the glass and I went, God damn it. And he stole my nucleated bottom too. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. That's the only way I was going to allow it.
Oh man, that is thick.
So that looks good. That looks good. This smells delicious. I smell the lime and the rum. So.
Oh baby.
Oh,
how's that for a shot?
Pour. That's a pour.
How's that glass look now?
That's how it's supposed to be shot.
That's right.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I love to have a custom logo on. Those look good. Motor oil, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I have drained thicker oil from my own vehicles, I'm ashamed to say.
The silence of us drinking. Huh. That's an interesting beer.
Now you're understanding the 3.8?
Yes, I am understanding of the 3.8. It's a very thinned body beer at 11%, and you taste the ginger and lime and the rum, which is actually, that's really wonderful tasting. But it's so light that are like, I could chug this and be fine and move on to the next. It's not a sipper. I was expecting this to be a sipper.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Aromatic of this beer is fantastic. Mouthfeel, not so much. So I don't think it's spoiled. There's nothing funky about this beer other than the ginger and the lime, but you taste it. So you're like, oh, that's what it's supposed to be. So you smell the fresh Jamaican rum on it. And when you drink it, you taste lime, rum, and ginger. I can't complain. It's doing everything it said it's supposed to be doing at 11.1%. But I'm just like, eh,
So
okay.
I pulled back ever so slightly when I tasted this one, because I've had the 2021. At one point, I bought like 12 bottles of the standard, and I pull them out for special occasions. We open a couple for Thanksgiving, we open a couple for Christmas, one on my birthday. Like, it's just one of the bottles that I've enjoyed sharing with a bunch of people. This one I pulled back on a little bit. Now, obviously, this is a year more aged than any of them that I've had. This tastes like Pirate Stout now.
In a good way or a bad way?
In a good way. It's a little thinner than I would like it to be. Which is like my one critique of Pirate Stout. Like, I wish Pirate Stout had a little more chutzpah to it. A little more,
yes, I know.
So we're talking about Santiam Pirate Stout, which is a standard from Santiam Brewing. It is a 8% rum barrel aged stout that you can get 365 days a year. It's amazing. It's always on tap. You can always find cans and bottles of it. And for a standard yearly available beer, it's incredible. My one complaint, it's a little thin at times. I want a little bit more body to it. This, minus the coconut that Pirate Stout manages to hit, it's got that same, like, toasted marshmallow finish. Like, super charcoaly toasted marshmallow finish. That reminds me exactly of Pirate Stout.
Yeah, you know, I've noticed with a lot of stouts, unless they're the big, like, pastry stouts or something, a lot of the earlier bourbon barrel aged, they seem to thin out a little bit. And I'm betting it's just fermentation, things settle, whatnot. Even if it's not re-fermenting, there's still something going, there's still something being eaten, something going on there, something settling. And but at the same time, the malt characteristics can blend, can smooth together to where you're like, the flavor's better, but the body's now different.
Right.
And it's like, you imagine that original body, and then, but you're like, man, I really wish it had this flavor now.
Yeah. The flavor's fantastic. It just thinned out a little bit. And I'm not saying I don't enjoy it. It's super good. Going back and exploring a beer, especially after it's aged, is always interesting because there's so many variables at play there. I don't know that I was quite expecting this. So, and it's still super cold. I pulled it out of my fridge. I wanted to go from cold to warm, not from warm to even warmer. So, we'll see how this does as it warms up just a little bit more.
So, how's your dental hygiene going, Jeff?
Oh, my dental hygiene is just fine. Simply because I hate paying dentists, but
now that's funny is because that's actually why I brush and floss my teeth a lot more. And I was like, I just don't like going there and having more than my routine cleaning. I really hate it.
Yep. I don't even do the routine cleaning all that much. I go like once every 3 years.
Oh no, I'll do the routine clean and that is it. I come out with my back sweating. I was like, I hate this. I hate this. This is horrible. And they're like, wow, you clean your teeth very well. I'm like, well, then why don't they look better?
Yeah. I have one of two things. I have either teeth so porous SpongeBob would be jealous, or I had Dysontis dentist when I was a kid, because I have more metal in my mouth than Iron Man.
Yeah.
So one of those two things is true. I've never experienced pain in my mouth outside of going to the dentist and having my teeth drilled. Not that I'm a skeptic, maybe a cynic. But Like, all four corners, I have bridges of 4. Just saying. Anyway. How do we get on that? Oh, right. The dental denial of service attack. That caused millions of euros in damage. This is reported by Tom's Hardware, a la Bleeping Computer. So Bleeping Computer and Fortinet posted the original articles that were referenced by this. Tom's Hardware did a nice write-up kind of summarizing everything. I did read all of them. It seemed a little suspect from the start, but we'll get into that. And there has been an edit by Tom's Hardware that says, we don't think this actually happened. We think it was a mistranslation and an over-exaggeration. But rest assured, the risk is still potentially there. Yeah. So, with that, 3 million dentists can't be wrong, right?
1 out of every 10 dentists, or 9 out of 10 dentists say this can happen.
Yeah. Apparently, a source says that a sizable army of connected dental cleaning tools was used in a DDoS attack on a Swiss company's website. The firm's site collapsed under the strain of the attack, reportedly resulting in the loss of millions of euros in business. In this particular case, the Toothbrush botnet was thought to have been vulnerable due to its Java-based OS. No particular toothbrush brand was mentioned in the source report. Normally, the toothbrushes would have used their connectivity for tracking or improving oral hygiene habits, but after the malware infection, these toothbrushes were press-ganged into a botnet. I was a little skeptical of this for a couple of different reasons. Number one, which dental hygiene company that creates toothbrushes, your Oral-B's, your Colgates, your whoever else, has produced 3 million of any device running the same OS? That seems like a high number, even for a global rollout. 3 million vulnerable, same OS, same instruction sets, same hardware, still capable of command control via Wi-Fi. That seems like a high number. Maybe I'm wrong. It feels high. But how did they get infected in the first place? That's the other thing. Did 3 million users go out and
update their toothbrushes?
Update their toothbrushes to a malicious command control center? No one's certainly natting information to their toothbrushes. I don't have a firewall rule and a NAT for my toothbrush.
That's the beauty of it. That's where the hacker was like, I got it, guys. Toothbrushes. We're gonna get them. We're totally gonna get them.
Who developed the hack? And then who created a botnet using 60 megahertz microcontrollers?
Here's what it is. It was a dentist, and he recommended this toothbrush to all of his clients.
It was that one dentist.
It was that one dentist. that one. And that was he was like, no, it's horrible. Buy this toothbrush. It's the bee's knees. So good. That's why it's Europe. Like it's probably like mostly UK.
I find it unlikely that any singular company, or even company that bought from ODMs from resellers, sold 3 million toothbrushes. Smart toothbrushes.
Smart toothbrushes. Like toothbrushes, yeah, sure, but smart toothbrushes.
Right, smart toothbrushes. But then what's the infection mechanism? And if you had a 100% success rate, you got 3 million toothbrushes? Yeah.
I want to know what the malware was called. Was it like gingivitis?
It was called Colgate.
That's what.
But for every exploit, there has to be an attack mechanism. There has to be a vulnerability, an open door, a way to actually infect, command, control these devices. Yeah, the server was hacked and backended to the Toothbrush. Even still, that seems unlikely. John, you're dead again.
You know what? I gotta go pee anyways. I mean, I gotta go step outside.
Gonna go bleed the lizard.
Yep.
It seems nonsensical that, number one, someone would target that number of toothbrushes. Someone would actually develop a command control software where the toothbrushes would stay working as normal, so they would still be charged and used, because a toothbrush that dies in 9 days is no good in a botnet when you need to call it to action. In order to call a bot to action, it would have to be sending data to a site for a command control. Obviously, no one's natting their toothbrushes and exposing these to the wild internet. So how did they get infected? I understand how command control works in botnets. Is you have a control server that you check in with every once in a while, and when it replies with a go command, you go. But this all seems so weird. Now, as reported by Bleeping Computer in an update, and Fortinet and Tom's Hardware in an update, Fortinet issued a statement to Bleeping Computer indicating that the report of the toothbrush attack is inaccurate. Now, the original attack says she's in her bathroom at home, but she's part of a large-scale cyber attack. The electric toothbrush is programmed with Java, and criminals have unnoticed installed malware on it, like on 3 million other toothbrushes. One command is enough, and the remote-controlled toothbrushes simultaneously access the website of a Swiss company. The site collapses and is paralyzed for 4 hours. Millions of dollars are lost. This example, which seems like a Hollywood scenario, actually happened, according to the original interview and original post. It shows how versatile digital attacks have become. I don't discredit that this type of attack is possible. It is so outlandish in its execution. Unless the OEM or the manufacturer's server was infiltrated on like a supply chain level, seems unlikely that 3 million people would have clicked on a malicious link and then had their Colgate toothbrushes infected.
All right, here's an idea. Here's an idea how it could have happened, because I went and looked up like most prominent smart toothbrushes in Amazon, #1 sellers. And it's a mobile app. And if they did infect the main kernel of the mobile app and then there was an update, that could infect the toothbrush.
That could be an attack vector.
That would have been the way it could have done it. And then this is now just phrasing that it was a DDoS attack from your toothbrushes, when it actually could have been a mobile app of your cell phone via your toothbrush app. But again, like you were saying, it could have been a translation issue.
Yeah.
There was a lot of weirdness to the original article where it could have been misinterpreted. So because of the translation. So
yeah.
But that could have been still 3 million. I mean, that's a pretty weak app if my thought process would have worked that way, but it's not likely. Still, it's probably more likely to happen that way than.
Hold on. We can check this kind of thing. I want to know how many people have downloaded the Oral-B toothbrush app. 5 million people. 5 million downloads for Oral-B. Colgate toothbrush app. Colgate Connect. 100,000.
Okay.
Philips.
Oh wait, hang on. Let's do it. Smart.
Philips Sonicare app. 500,000. Okay, so we're up to 5,560,000. 5.6 million. Between the three major manufacturers of smart toothbrushes. So out of 5.6 million, I'm expected to believe that 3 million were infected.
Did you say Philips was the number one?
Oral-B is number one.
Okay.
And then Philips Sonicare and Colgate.
All right. Philips Oral-B iOS Series 9 is the number 2 best-selling toothbrush.
Yeah.
In Europe.
Yeah.
So, maybe. But
according to the Play Store, and I know there's other sources, according to the Play Store, there's 5 million downloads of the Oral-B app. Let's say 10 million and round up for iOS sake. Let's say 1-to-1 iOS. So 10 million. You're still expecting me to believe a 30% infection rate?
It's a good hack.
Seems high.
Hack.
Seems high. Just saying.
Disgruntled employee who originally wrote the program?
Could be a supply chain level issue. However, as we found out, in most cases, that's nearly impossible.
Yeah, and also this is what Occam's razor is not, probably not. We are taking leaps and bounds for this.
Someone says Braun, Braun. Braun is Oral-B. So there you go.
You'd be surprised how many. It's just like so many other companies. There's only like 3 or 4 actual companies, and they buy subsidiaries.
I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry, John.
I was really hoping I wouldn't have an issue this week. It's been like 3 weeks in a row. It has a USB charging station. Oh, my battery's inside my house. I gave my wife one.
John, I just need to send you one of my 4K webcams, and you can start streaming with that.
My other cam. It's charged, but it's just taking up so much.
Uber Sprite says the Pokemon Smile app for kids to brush their teeth has 1 million plus downloads. Yes, but that doesn't connect to their smart toothbrush for a command control botnet attack. That is an app to encourage people to brush their teeth. As the father of 3 kids... So, yeah. 30% infection rate, not going to happen. 3 million identical devices, possible, also unlikely. The fact that these were used in a command control attack, I'm sure they do run a Java OS. Zoidberg, sorry, Zach, said, you know it's fake because it said they use Java for an OS. Java runs on every device.
There's my battery. Hang on, I'm going to try this. There we go. Hold on. That's the other battery. It wasn't actually first.
Hey, it's the Poets checking in. Hey, man. Cheers, my friend. What's up, Craft? I have your round medallion on my desk. Sweet. So this last time I went out and about was up at LTX for a conference, and DePoets was there, and I gave a whole bunch of people my new business cards, which are essentially slammers, like for Pog. I bought some aluminum discs, and I put my logo on one side, and I put a QR code to my YouTube channel on the other, and that was my business card.
Oh, you know what you should have done would have been even better is if you did that, but then handed pogs of the other 3 hosts so you can like slam on them and be like, screw those guys.
Yeah. But hey, thanks for checking in, my friend. If you ever want to grab any more beer anytime, if you're ever in the Northwest, let me know. I know some places. So, just saying. We do have a couple other stories to get to real quick. The Apple Vision Pro is now out and about. People love it. People hate it. People love to hate it. Love it or hate it. As with all things Apple, there's usually some pretty cool tech inside, and this is the one that really caught my eye, especially from a VR AR enthusiast as I am. Maybe at PAX West. Ooh. We'll be at the next PAX West, without a doubt. So, yes. The last time we went to PAX West, we hit up the original Starbucks Roastery, which also has a full-time bar. Oh.
It was great.
That was a good hangout place. So yes.
Jeff came this close to getting a divorce and marrying the bartender. It was this close. Like Steve and I had to pull him back. Like, no, you have a loving family. Come on, you love your wife and kids. And he was like, oh, she gets me. She gets me.
The drink that girl made me. Oh my gosh.
you were in love that night. Like, oh my gosh.
I was all kinds of Twitter-pated.
Yes, you were.
She made me a cold brew whiskey old-fashioned.
To be honest, when I tried it, it was pretty darn tasty. It was
right. You'd leave your wife too.
Oh yeah, probably. Well, she constantly made me drink like that every night instead of dinner. Basically, if she did that instead of honey, here's dinner, honey, here's a cocktail. Yes.
Right.
Totally.
Right? If my wife was watching, love you. So yes, PAX West, I think we will be attending this year. Well, in fact, we'll make it happen. If you're going to be there, we'll make it happen.
That'll be fun. Wait, what's the date for those?
It's usually Labor Day weekend, and so it's September.
Oh,
it's first weekend in September.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good. That's what I should say. I'm good.
The poet says, "Cold brew whisk okay, I'm going to PAX West." So yeah, it's a Starbucks with coffee roasters in the background, but they also employ like 4 full-time bartenders, and they make coffee-inspired cocktails, and they're amazing. They had like 15 cocktails on their menu when we went. There were 4 of us. They would serve us each 2 cocktails, and that was their limit. Corporate-wise, they said we can only serve you 2 cocktails, and
we got 8.
So we got 8. And so everyone had their orders in, and I was going for my second, and everyone had already had their second. And I said, "Make me something that's going to make me question reality." Was kind of my question for her. And so she goes, "I'm going to make you my old fashioned, but I'm not going to tell you how I made it." And so she makes it, and I tried it, and I went, "Holy crap! This is one of the best cocktails I've ever had." And it's making me question reality. So you did your job right. You wouldn't serve me mezcal, but I want to say this tastes like mezcal. I want to say.
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
I want to say you served me a mezcal old fashioned and you've spiked it with coffee, but that's not what you did. And she goes, "No, that's not what I did." And I said, "Holy crap!" No, she. Over the course of a week, they take whiskey and they cold press it through coffee beans or through coffee grounds, and they make a cold press whiskey.
And I think she was the one who like came up with that or did that herself. I think
I've since recreated that, and it works.
Yeah,
I have a method of doing cold press whiskey now. That is on par.
The closest, if you want to get to a poor man's version, the closest you can get is Jameson's cold brew. A stout cast. That's the poor man.
The stout cask, the cold brew. Even then, not enough coffee.
Yeah, I said poor man's version.
Right. No, I have actually done cold brew whiskey here in my house, and I have I'm looking for the right whiskey still to like make it work. Yeah, and as DePote says, a way to a man's heart is through his liver.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, yes. Tell me more about cold press whiskey. Stay tuned to Mixology March here on Craft Computing. I think I'm going to bring it back. March is cocktail month here on Craft Computing. It's going to be fun. Anyway, Apple Vision Pro, VR enthusiast, AR enthusiast. Love it or hate it, the tech is really, really impressive inside the Apple Vision Pro. Is it worth $3,500? Probably not. But at the same time, it's still better than everything else, so why doesn't it cost more than 2 times as much? The displays on the Vision Pro are kind of the ire of my interest today, in that iFixit says the displays in a microscope offer 54 times the density of an iPhone Pro 15. The pixels on this OLED display, micro OLED display, are the size of red blood cells. With each 0.98 square inch screen housing 12.1 million pixels. Individually illuminated pixels. 3,386 pixels per inch. This is from the company that claimed 320 pixels per inch was a retina display, as long as you weren't slamming it into your eye. Apparently you need 10 times that to get retina when it's 3 inches from your face. So, yes. Yes. Incredible resolution. I've not tried one yet. I've been hesitant to try one because I also don't want to spend $3,500 right now. I'm sure it's great. The software support isn't there. They're not allowing true VR experiences outside of their own walled ecosystem. They're trying to keep everything close to the vest. I'm sure it will open up eventually, but that eventually is not here yet. But again, this kind of tech, that when Apple is on their game, when they develop class-leading tech, this starts bleeding out to everyone else. So yes, Apple has 3,386 pixels per inch in a display today. Most of the iPhones are 10% of that, 5% of that, as far as resolution goes. 4K TVs are around 140 pixels per inch. The monitor in front of me, I think, is 215 pixels per inch and a 34-inch 3440 by 1440 ultra wide. So there's room to grow, right? This tech eventually makes its way into other devices, into other brands, into other things that we're going to use. And specifically for the AR VR space, I can't say that I've tried one that's 3,300 pixels per inch, but I've tried one that's 2,000 pixels per inch.
Yeah, and how
It's
big was
good.
that thing? You know, real? Oh, really? Yeah, nice.
Yeah. I got to try a display that blew my mind at Augmented World Expo. So,
but I mean, that's what do these cost? Like over $3K for the headset.
$3,500.
Yeah, so that's basically what this is. I think Apple is basically just doing proof of concept. We're the first. We're going to show you the hardware. Everything is possible now. You're going to have to pay for it, but doing this, they're going to make that reputation of, yep, we're the best at it right now because we were the first at it. So therefore, we're awesome. A lot of companies do this type of methodology of releasing new innovative hardware and software. But yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Come 2 years from now, the price point will drop so far low. The cool ingenuity that a screen like this will be implemented into different things will be amazing. It's gonna be sweet. 4K TVs, 4K monitors, glasses like you've done videos on. Those are going to be so cheap and so easily available to where 5 years from now, they're going to be the $199 market, type of deal. And they're really good. And that display, though, that quality will be so far surpassed into a much better reality, or the hardware will be, not even the quality, because the eye can only take so much, honestly. But there'll be newer things, but it's amazing to see. I love when companies do stuff like this. It's nice. I won't pay $3,500 to see this. The videos are odd, they're weird to see. Like you said, people love this, people hate this. I saw like a pilot using it while he was flying. I was like, yeah, that's just, I don't want to see that.
The pie in the sky, the thing that we want AR to be, is seamless. We want to be able to put on a pair of glasses like this. And I've seen there's an ODM that is making displays that look like this, that have half the resolution of the Apple glasses and are completely transparent, just like putting on a pair of glasses. Now the control box is on a pack, but you got to put the battery somewhere anyway, so I don't mind a tether in my life. But there are displays out there like this at 2,000 pixels per inch at 110 degree field of view or wider, that with a camera, with the right software, with the right development, could totally transform the way we interact day to day. There have been tech demos all the time of BMW and Mercedes using augmented reality in shops for assembling cars and repairing cars. Hey, this car came in and it has a bad AC compressor. First, you're going to remove these two bolts and pick up this component. Then you're going to need this tool to do it. And it highlights in 3D space where you're supposed to be looking in the engine bay. That is something that is used in the industry. Airline pilots use VR for training. Stewardesses use VR for training. Airline hostess use VR for training. There's a number of different industries that are using VR for training now. The problem is, outside of purpose-built linear short scenarios, it's not been able to really impact our daily lives. The coolest example I've ever seen of AR as a device that could be implemented into my daily life was when I tried Google Glass for the first time. Mm-hmm. and I had GPS directions projected in my peripheral vision just above me in the car. And I had a 3D representation of the road just above my vision, right about where I'd be glancing at the rearview mirror when I was driving.
I was going to say the GPS and directional would be the most obvious.
Totally cool. Put that in a motorcycle, I'm sold.
I love it. Or even just walking, being like, take me to the closest restaurant, whatever.
Right.
And walk this way, arrow this way, and
right.
you could easily talk and not have to say, in 20 feet, take a right. No, you see this arrow.
Yeah.
It says go right.
It just says on this street, go this way, or your building should be right there, or the thing you're looking for. What we're missing right now is the real-time highlight it for me in my main vision. We've covered the peripheral notifications. We've managed to do that with a number of different devices. There's a number of different heads-up displays that you can buy, whether it's snowboarding goggles, whether it's motorcycle heads-up displays that can give that kind of information. Mm-hmm. What we're waiting for is the next paradigm shift of show me in real time, in my real vision, when I'm looking forward and interacting with the world in front of me, what I'm supposed to be looking for. And the Apple Vision Pro, even without having tried it, shows me kind of that next paradigm shift of the hardware is now there. Before, we couldn't say the hardware was there.
I mean, from my understanding, this is essentially just your Apple phone in a augmented reality space in front of you.
But the thing is, being able to project the entire world with the spatial cameras and the depth sensors and everything else to map your real world setting. And then the software stack to be able to say, oh, I know what you're looking at right now. What you're looking for is there.
Yeah.
In my main vision. Not peripheral, not a vague arrow, not a, oh, you happen to be traveling 65 miles per hour. No. I want to know to the foot, to the inch, to the border of the wall of the property, what am I supposed to be looking at when I'm looking at GPS directions? That's the next paradigm shift.
Now, see, what you could do is, because they're working on what I think it's called like air charging or something like that to loosen that tether, you could have those glasses that you were talking about, and then if you could sync your phone to be your computing device, and then have a battery pack backup on, say, another pocket or your wallet or something, to air charge the glasses, that would be a more practical thing of than it is, like you were saying, that tiny glasses, that your sunglasses, that your day-to-day glasses, they look fine, they do things. And the cool part, yeah, I do agree. Every aspect of the Apple Vision, it's advancing, and that's the great part. Everything is advancing forward. I don't think it's there yet, but it shows we are getting faster and faster, closer and closer to that cool product we're wanting, that Hollywood style product that everyone's looking at, that comic book, that movie, anime cartoon style, the Jarvis, Iron Man type thing. Click your eyeglasses, you're getting all these cool augmented realities. Oh, what was that stupid Minority Report? You have, you can move cool things around. Yeah, and I want to zoom into things, but you could put a pair of glasses on that's very thin and do that and be like, oh, I need to take a look at my map, or I need to take a look at something, a diagram, or of within a high resolution camera, and you're looking at something, I need to zoom into this one spot, but have one part be zoomed in and very high resolution for you. That's coming closer and closer. So I like that.
Hello, Jeff Geerling. Jeff Geerling's chiming in as well. All the friends that I met over at LTX. So will the future be Blade Runner or Minority Report? I think unfortunately both, but the worst aspects of both. So remember how Decker walks everywhere and it recognizes who Decker is and gives ads directly to him, but also in Minority Report, it did the same thing with Tom Cruise until he switched his eyes with some random Chinese lady and then it recognized him as that Chinese lady. Same future.
Well, they already do that in China, so that's fine.
Yeah. So
when they have AI tracking you everywhere over there, I mean, we have that in our phones, anyways. But yeah, or the Futurama. What was the lightning underwear?
Oh yeah, the lightning briefs.
The lightning briefs.
The dream implanted into your brain.
Yeah.
Mr. Fry, are you in your underwear? Yeah. Great episode.
I mean, yeah. No,
I mean, correlate that with the new Futurama with the iPhone.
Oh yeah, where it goes in
jamming it into your eye. You're right. I mean, yeah. The future is all advertising based. Exactly. The more they can lock on to who you are as an individual, and the more they can get you to buy more product, and the more they can advertise directly to you exactly, the more you're going to see Minority Report and Blade Runner. It's literally the same future.
Well, there you go. There's your whole AI home integration, though, is the more and more it goes, is you become the product for their AI, and they're selling you right now the chance to get out of that, Jeff. Build your AI now. Build your own personal AI so you don't have to rely on their free one that tracks everything for you. That's really what they're doing for you, Jeff.
It's true.
Build a supercomputer for you now, and in 20 years, you can give it to your kids so it doesn't get tracked. So they aren't tracked.
We had two more stories to get to. I'll touch on them briefly because I think the titles do enough justice. And then I think we have time for a couple questions. Mike, I see you. I'm going to answer. It's not going to be a very good answer, though. Old Nvidia GPUs enjoy huge performance uplifts thanks to a new mod. Someone has ported DLSS 3 and FSR 3 to old Turing and Ampere graphics cards. So you can take advantage of DLSS 3 and DLSS 3.5, as well as AMD's FSR 3, and get the same performance uplift just on the older architecture. Who knew that all that RTX and AI goodness was just parallelized computing that didn't really require special instruction sets? We just wanted to make it a hardware differentiating feature, but it turns out it's really not. And a group of modders has been working for 10 years on recreating the original StarCraft 1 and Brood War in StarCraft 2, complete with remastered cutscenes and custom model units. And this is a super cool mod. I've seen a couple of YouTube videos going through it. They have recreated all of the war room sequences and transported the voice actors and used either their modern voice actor, it's a great mod. If you're a fan of the original StarCraft and Brood War, holy crap, this is worth playing.
It looks fun. I saw the trailer, and it's pretty sweet looking.
It's probably how I'm going to spend my weekend.
Although at the same time, I then saw the original, like, man, that was a fun game. I kind of want to go play the classic. That was my take. I was like,
hey, John, we should play the classic. I'd love to play the classic.
I would love. There was a game I did with Steve one time, and it went for like hours just because he beat me. But then I kept like making tiny bases everywhere and taking the spy and nuking his army just before he tried to attack me. I was like, yes, I'm not going to win this, but I'm going to make it. I'm going to prolong this as long as I can.
But we're both going to lose.
His Protoss army will die.
Yes. Nuclear launch detected.
Exactly. God, those took forever. Oh, man.
How do you still have a ghost, mother?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did that.
Anyway, link is in the description to that article. It's called StarCraft Mass Recall. And it is a full recreation of StarCraft 1 in the StarCraft 2 engine, complete with models, cutscenes, voice acting, everything that you could ever want. It is free to play. Go download it now. You could also download the StarCraft Classic, which is basically a modernized version of StarCraft. You can run it on a modern OS. You can also download StarCraft Cartooned, which is kind of like a StarCraft meets Battle Beast aesthetic, which is also kind of fun. But yeah, John, we should play some StarCraft this weekend.
It would be fun. I'd do that.
I'd do that.
Drunk StarCraft live night stream. Join
the title writes itself.
Join the Discord, and you might see that happen.
Let's talk afterwards. But what's your schedule? Let's make that happen.
I Saturday evening I'm clear.
I think I'm clear Saturday evening as well.
I
think we're gonna live stream some StarCraft this weekend. That could be fun.
We could do some. I could do some StarCraft.
Do you have a breathalyzer? Because I kind of want there to be a minimum blow before we start.
I do have a breathalyzer.
I do as well.
A minimum ABV level. You have to start here.
You have to start at a 0.1 and continue drinking.
Yes. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yes. So whoever. Oh, here we go. 0.1. There's two ways of die. If you go past 0.8, you lose the game.
Ooh.
If it's still in the middle of the game. So you have to or if you just die regularly.
You have to maintain an ABV.
You have to maintain.
You have to Balmer peak it, is what you're trying to get at.
Yes, exactly.
I'm on board.
Exactly.
Rambozo, it's not I live for ire, it's my life for ire. Get the quote right. That's a challenge, yeah. It's kind of like Mario Kart drinking. Have you ever done the Mario Kart drinking game?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
That's fun.
For those who don't know, you open a beer at the beginning of a race. So you start a circuit race, it's 4 races. You open a beer at the beginning of a race. You are allowed to drive or you are allowed to drink. But you cannot cross the finish line until your beverage is consumed. Yep. And so you can either jet out in front and then stop at the finish line and slam your beer and then cross, or you can drive for a little bit and drink, and then drive for a little bit and drink, or you can consume the entire thing and then drive to the finish line and try to pass everyone.
And then usually the 4th race, because it's not a single race,
right? It's
the trophy 4, 6, 8. By the end, your plan can vary. It might not work for you so much.
Right.
We should do both of those. We should do that would be fun to do as well. We should do a live Mario. Now, see, I propose. What's the next anniversary for craft computing?
Oh, it's in August.
Let's do a 4-way Mario Kart race.
Oh,
live stream.
We do Mario Kart live drink. Yeah. Yes.
All 4, because I have a spare Switch, or I think Steve has a mod, and
I've got one.
Whatever. Yeah, we can easily make that happen.
Yeah,
that would be super. And here's how we do it: we could easily make it to where we all have the same beers.
Yeah.
Too. That would be fun.
I think what we need to do. Because I hate playing on 3-player or 4-player on a single Switch because it drops you to 30 FPS. And that's just wrong. I think we need to get 4 Switches together. We need to do a LAN game so we can all have our own screens. We combine those screens into one conglomerate so we can show the entire gameplay on the native Switches as they happen, as well as our 4 faces via cameras.
Uh-huh.
I think that's the best way to do it.
Well, I have 3 Switches, and you have 1, so there we go. Or you probably have more than 1.
I do have a couple, yes.
So yeah, I got 3.
I got 3. We can make this happen. Green says, can't drink and drive is more cannot drink while driving. John?
We've been doing this gig for a while, Jeff, of drinking and driving stuff. This is how Craft Computing's channel was even built upon this base. I'm sorry.
So for those who don't know the origins of Craft Computing, I leased a space above John's bar to run a VR arcade to help fund the production of Craft Computing. I was basically taking people's money and introducing them to VR so I could buy hardware so I could produce YouTube videos. And so that's the origin of Craft Computing. One of the best ways we did that was hot laps in project cars in VR, 2 drink minimum.
It was great. It was fantastic.
I had a full sit down racing simulator that would strap you into VR. It had an actual car seat. It had a 6-speed shifter. It had 3 pedals. It had the force feedback steering wheel. You could adjust your seating position. You could do all that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, it strapped you into a car with way too much horsepower. And so what we would do is every week we would choose a course and a track. And on your honor, you come in, you have 2 pints, you go upstairs, you pay your entry fee, you race the track, you post your lap time, and then at the end of the week, the winner gets a prize. The winner gets a free, $10 gift card or something like that.
Something.
Yeah. But that's what we did. It was legal drinking and driving, as you pointed out.
It was, and then we even did we promoted a league within all the tap rooms and breweries. So all right, bring your best drivers, bring your best drinkers, and we had the brewery owners and the brewers with teams of 2 or 3. I think it was 2. And
yeah, it seems to we did it. I think we ended up holding 3 events, but we had 12 breweries and tap houses involved.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. It was, because we had to do it that particular one after closing hours. But yeah, again, if you go back to, I think it's the first 5 episodes of Craft Computing.
Yeah,
it's shot above my tap room.
Yeah.
Big white background, everything. I still have some pictures that show up on my memory of
Me too.
AJ.
Me too.
That's funny. That's good times. Good times.
One of the memories I'd rather do without is the time that I had my brother-in-law up there. I was introducing him to VR for the first time, and I introduced him to Gorn.
Oh, I remember Gorn. Yes. The Gladiator one.
Yeah. The computer that I built for Craft Computing's very first video, the X79 thrown into, a random PC case, it did okay. It was a 1070 and a 2667 V0 Xeon. And that's what ran my VR arcade. It was set up on a little IKEA table, and then I had a chair right next to it, and then we had set up a 15 by 12 foot floor or something like that. That I had installed a full hardwood floor. That was a nice smooth surface with a green screen behind it, so we could film people being in the game while they were in the game. Anyway, I brought my brother-in-law up, and we had both had a couple of drinks. And I said, hey, you have to try this game. It's called Gorn. It's amazing. And so I put his headset on. And in that game, the warnings about you're stepping outside of the bounds of VR feel a little fluid because the game feels so real. And so when you're taking a hammer and you're trying to come down and smash the head off of one of the enemy combatants, it feels very real in your brain. But when you take 3 steps outside of the grid that warns you, hey, you're stepping outside of the grid, and then you clock me over the head with a Vive controller.
Oh, that's right.
And take me to the ground.
You are right. That was funny. I remember Well, I just remember hearing about it and just laughing so hard.
I'm pretty sure I had a concussion from that. He broke a Vive controller over my head in VR.
I remember that. I'm like, what? What's going on up there? Man, I don't know another tap room that had like horror movies in the basement, in a haunted basement, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Beer plus Star Trek plus Futurama plus South Park in the main auditorium, basically 24 hours a day.
Right.
And drunk VR upstairs.
Drunk VR and drunk driving upstairs.
Yeah.
It was...
I don't know. But, oh my gosh.
John, we may need to re-evaluate. I'm just saying.
I totally get it. Yes, man. The ideas we had are gold. They're platinum. They are so good.
Yeah.
I just think location was key, and it was just the wrong location. It was a block off.
However, the block that it was off of, I hear, is available.
I'm not gonna go back there. I'm not right now. Maybe like 3 years from now, I might.
Just floating it out there.
No, not right now, but 3 years.
And I'm saying, if you needed a business partner in this particular venture,
that one, okay. Oh, if I'm not, I'll tell you what. You do all the financing, I'll do the management.
I was going to go the other way on that because I wasn't impressed on the other side of things.
I know a great bar manager.
Yes, and I'm sure he'd jump at the chance. I've looked over the last couple of years of different spots. Remember, I almost bought a tap house. I tried in 2019. I tried to buy one, and it got ripped out from under me at last second. No, if I ever did, he'd be my first call. So.
No, he's a great guy. It's still always in the back of my mind. It's like, I know what to do. I know what went wrong. So it's like, now I know all the right steps and all the wrong steps. Like, I can make this work. It's like I feel it in my bones, essentially, type of thing.
How much happier would you be doing that?
Oh man, if I could make even like 40% less than what I make now, be like, I don't care. I'd be happy.
Right.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm doing stuff I love. I loved doing the entertainment value of that place. I felt I was good at that, and the people around me told me I was good at it. So I'm not trying to boast, but I felt I was really good at that.
You were really good at that.
You
were genuinely very good at that.
Yeah.
The reason that every bartender in Salem went to drink at your tap room proves you were good at that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I had an eye. I had the thing. It's like, oh, I know what people want to try, whether it's good or bad. I could sell you on the experience.
Yeah.
Of it, and life wise, that's the thing is you come into the bar and. Well, actually, so I will to the people out there. Here's the one thing that I did, and the weirdest thing, but it's so simple, is I waved to everyone that walked by my tap room. Mm-hmm. It was a glass front door, the glass front wall, and I told every staff, and it was a requirement, no matter what, smile, and every person that walked by, with a kid or not, you waved at them.
Yep.
And I got 30% of the people to walk by like, why'd you wave? Like, we just want to say hi.
Yeah.
All right, I want to come in here.
Yeah.
I want to see what you're about. Just by that aspect, was an amazing business tactic of friendly openness. I trust this person. I believe in this person. Of just, hi, how you doing? That's it. So. Yeah. It's 8:30. How we doing? You know what? I didn't ask. How's the stout now?
It's good.
It's good. I finished mine. Mine was 12 ounces, so it wasn't as big as yours.
Yeah, mine was
It's like two.
It's 16.9, I think is what they do 500 mil. I think is what they do on these.
So I don't know. Mine, I liked it. I liked it more toward the end. I just missed. I wish I had a bigger body. That's my only complaint about it. But
now that it's warmed up, and I think we'll probably finish with this. The body firmed up as this beer warmed up, which I love to see. Firmed up a lot. It went from a really thin milk chocolate to not quite a syrup, but syrup-esque. If anyone's ever watched the Mythbusters episode of Swimming in Syrup, you know what constitutes a syrup. This reached syrup-esque like levels of like body thickness and viscosity. And I love that episode for that, for explaining all of that to us. Holy crap. The roastiness and I would even go beyond that and say char level on this beer is so freaking good. It is thick, it is heavy, it is chewy. It's also very dry. Like I feel the water actively being sucked out of my mouth by drinking this beer. Very, very good. I was disappointed when I first opened this because I was kind of worried maybe it had sat too long, maybe it had gone a little bad, maybe there's something that didn't quite age right, maybe there's this, maybe there's that. Warmed up to 45, maybe 50 degrees. This beer is perfect.
21, you said year?
21. 3 years aged.
21, so 3 years aged. Standard Goose Island. So
standard Bourbon County Stout, no special label, standard BCS.
So with that, and I always encourage this, when you get the standard, if that's all you get, buy three. Buy three. One fresh, 1 year old, and then pick your poison of how old you want to go. And it sounds like probably 3 years might be the best.
3 years for the 2021, I think, is finally the money spot. Where we're even... I think I opened this beer a year plus 2 months ago for Thanksgiving. I had a 2021 for Thanksgiving in late 2022. And even then, I think my thoughts were the same. It's a little bit thin. It's not quite... It's not meaty enough. It doesn't have enough body to it. Finally, I think this beer is ready.
Yeah.
Have we tried Blackened Voodoo from Louisiana?
I have not heard of that brewery.
I've not heard of that. I've tried breweries from... It must be all 50 states at this point. I can't actively think of a brewery that I've had in Louisiana.
That's a good...
I've even had breweries out of Mississippi. I can't think of a Louisiana brewery. I've had Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee, Carolinas, Iowa, Oklahoma, Texas. I've had everything around it. I can't actively think of a Louisiana brewery.
Hang on. Louisiana Ghost in the Machine. Oh, okay. Parish. Actually, the one I just had.
Oh, Parish. Okay, there you go.
All right, yeah, there you go.
Well, there you go.
So there you go. Yep. Louisiana. There we go.
Well, yeah,
top
Parish,
rated
Louisiana.
beers
Okay, that makes sense.
in Louisiana. Go Parish. So there we go. Just had one tonight.
There you go.
Holy Ghost is number 6. So there we go.
Yeah, Novella says, I think of many Minnesota breweries. Like, there are 50 Oregon breweries I can mention before I would even come close to mentioning a Louisiana brewery.
Well, that's the problem, is we have so many, like, locally. I'm like,
and there are 20 Washington.
Else.
There are probably 30 California. There's another 25 or 30 Colorado. There's another 10 or 12 Arizona. There's a dozen New Mexico. There's, I think Wyoming's the only other one that I have a really hard time. Like, oh, what's that one in Wyoming?
That would be pretty fun. You know, I wonder if I could do that for like a March thing or something. Like, try to get all
50 states,
all 50 states, or the remaining that I don't have. Go through my Untapped and be like, oh, here's all the states I'm missing, or make that a series. You know, here's the states I'm missing. Whether it's a good beer or not, just to say, okay, I've had a beer in every state.
Yeah. What's funny is like I said, I've had beer shipped to me from literally all 50 states. I've had Alaska, Washington, California, Idaho, Denver, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico. Go from the West Coast to the East. I can't remember receiving a beer from a Louisiana brewery. Yeah, it's the one state that I go, I don't think I've received beers from North and South Dakota, and I can't think of a brewery from Louisiana.
Now, other than perishable, that was the thing. When I looked it up, like the top 10 beers from Louisiana, all of them were Parish.
And you go, oh, right, like, Parish. And
a Parish.
Gun to my head, I might have come up with Parish Brewery.
Yeah, and they're like,
I can't name a second.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah. That might be an interesting video concept of, or a series concept.
Yeah, 50 state.
Get on Untapped. Figure out what the best beer is from every state.
Ooh, that's a good one. Highest rated beer or standard
highest rated brewery and their best rated beer. Like go with that.
You have to go standard because their best rated could be a one-off, but they're standards.
A beer that you can acquire.
Year-round beer.
A beer that you can acquire.
Yeah.
And so what I would say is best rated brewery. So get on to what's the best brewery in Louisiana. And it goes Parish. And you go, okay, what's their best beer that I can buy today? And you buy that beer.
And then you send them to Hops and Brews. So that's what you
And then you send them to Hops and Brews.
And we'll do a live craft StarCraft or Mario Kart.
You know what? I still have those Hershey's Younglings. Oh, I think we just lost John. Oh no! And I think that's a great time to end the show because it was time to end the show anyway. It's 8:30. It's 30 minutes past the hour. We're 28 seconds or 28 minutes past the time that makes us 2.5 hour show. Cool. John has a home automation system, and I know his power likes to kick off at certain times. I bet he set it for 8:30 tonight, because it literally just clicked over to 8:30, and I bet his power died. I bet if he signs back on, that's the issue. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching episode 320 of Talking Heads. Join us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time for the latest in beer, and sometimes some tech news. Visit craftcomputing.store. You can pick up our nucleated pint glasses, all custom etched and designed and made in-house to order. If you buy a pint glass, it literally sends me a notification to go cut one in my garage. So that's the level of care and quality and craftsmanship that you're getting. John, are you back? Did I guess correctly that your home automation system decided to kick off your lights at 8:30?
Oh, it's not even letting me join.
I see you. I see you.
Oh, okay. All right. There you are. There you are. Yeah. No. My timer for my shed
Called it.
Power.
I went. John has a home automation system, and I bet it told him to kick off at 8:30 today.
It did. That's exactly what it did.
Because it was 8:29, and your lights went boop.
And I was like, "There's no way we're going to 8:30. We'll be fine."
You know better. Set it to 9 o'clock on Wednesdays. God damn.
Well, there we go.
God.
So.
Anyway.
Anyways, good place to end.
Yes, good place to. I was halfway through the outro. So, subscribe to Hops and Brews if you like the beer content on this channel and want to see more beer reviews, including some of yours truly, but also some of John. He's kind of a necessary evil in that circumstance. Anyway, links are all down in the video description. Buy a pint glass. It helps keeps the lights on around here. Every pint glass is made to order. As I said, if you place an order, I literally get a notification that I need to cut up a couple more pint glasses. So that's the way that works. John, any go to the order while we've still got you via cell phone?
No, I'm good. Just order more of those pint glasses, the Hops and Brews ones. Those are good.
I love that the orientation in this particular format lends itself to the TikTok era because you're on a vertical cell phone right now. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. And as always, we will see you next week.
See you guys.